Welcome to the Market Moon Lord, where we merge the matrix with the stars. I'm your host, Jason Alexander, the Blue Moon of Neptune, here to help you navigate through the illusions of life. We're back for another weekly financial astrology update video on AMC. And you guys know I'm excited for this week because we have a full moon. Not only do we have a full moon, but we have a super flower blood moon lunar eclipse. That's crazy. It's called a super moon basically because it is going to be happening when the moon is at perigee. You guys know that's significant for me. That's because the moon will be closest to the sky during that eclipse. Now, why is this full moon called a blood full moon? And that's because during a lunar eclipse, see, you have a solar eclipse and a lunar eclipse. If you look at the top right, a lunar eclipse is when the earth is in between the sun and the moon. It creates a shadow from the earth onto the moon, blocking the sun rays from hitting the moon, and it just hits like the outer part of the moon, and it creates like a reddish color on this eclipse. So it's bloody, okay? It's a bloody eclipse, okay? It's literally called a super flower blood moon lunar eclipse. So hey, based on that, it's probably going to be bloody. But for who, we're going to have to look deeper into the stars. Now, the really cool thing about this eclipse, and when it comes to full moons, we already know that anything can kind of happen with like that full moon energy is a very climax energy. But when it comes to eclipse, it's like times it by 10. Okay, it's like extra significant. Okay, so this is a time where it's really about endings and beginnings. Okay, and since it's lunar and the moon controls more of the psychological part of us, typically during eclipse times, it's a psychological transformation as well. So definitely expect some high intense energy on this eclipse that's going to be taking place on May 26th. Now, another thing I want to mention is it is happening in the sign of Sagittarius. Sagittarius is considered the most lucky sign of the zodiac. It's a sign of manifestation, okay? It's a sign of aiming for something and getting your goal, getting what you're aiming for, okay? So if we type in Sagittarius right here, I just want to show you the symbol of Sagittarius. Okay, you see how it's a person aiming? It's an arrow. Okay, it's all about aiming towards something, having a clear goal, and through that aim, through that clear goal, Sagittarius is able to manifest. It's considered the most lucky sign of the zodiac. And we know Sagittarius is Jupiter, and what does Jupiter do in astrology? It expands things. You see, Jupiter used to be a sun. It blew up, it turned to a dwarf planet, or dwarf sun, and it's actually just an expanded gas planet. Okay, so whatever Jupiter touches, it expands. This eclipse is actually aspecting Jupiter, and the eclipse is actually in the Jupiter sign of Sagittarius. Okay, so I definitely feel like this is a very big time energy for major expansion. Okay, and it can go either way. Okay, but yeah, volatile week ahead of us. I'm definitely betting on that based upon the moon phases. What do you guys think? Are you guys feeling like there's going to be a lot of volatility next week? How do you guys feel about your optimism energy right now? Because Sagittarius does rule optimism, okay? Because Sagittarius is all about belief, okay? If I look in this strengths, okay, you can see right here, it's all about being optimistic. It's all about believing in what you're aiming for, okay? So during this full moon on a personal level, you guys should feel optimistic about something, and hopefully we could be potentially harvesting from something that we've been aiming on, working for. To get more information on that, you guys want to look at where exactly Sagittarius falls in your chart. For me, if I didn't actually look exactly where, but it's most likely going to fall in either my second or third house. Most likely my third house. I'll have to look into that. But if it falls in my second house, that's the house of savings and things that I have, possessions. Okay, third house would be the house of everything that's familiar with you. It's also the house of broadcasting. Like me doing this video right now is a very third house situation. Okay, so this video based upon this full moon, If it lands in my third house, should have a lot of expansion energy on it. So maybe this video gets more views, more likes. All right, don't forget to like. If you guys are new here, subscribe. But yeah, guys, definitely check out where Sagittarius falls in your chart. We're about to look at the moon phases now, and then after that, we're gonna go by all the stars day by day action, like we always do each and every week. All right, let's get into it. Okay, so we are back. We are back again, looking at these moon phases. Man, what a journey it's been. What a journey. So, I mean, you guys, I know you guys kind of are getting the drift that the moon phases are really, really at play here. For those that are new, the black ones are the new moons, the white ones are the full moons, okay? The blue background is the waxing, when the moon is growing, time of growth, okay? And the waning moon, time of letting go, okay? And preparing for the new moon again. So that would be the black background. So during this next week for AMC and the stock market, we will be going into the climax of the full moon, which will be taking place on Wednesday, May 26th. And then on Thursday and Friday, we will begin the black background, the waning moon. Okay, so keep that in mind going into this week. Okay, this week can be very, very emotionally dramatic. Okay, so you guys really need to make sure you're watching the emotions. Okay, and just stay calm no matter what happens. Okay, and Sagittarius can be very rushy. Okay. It's the last fire sign of the zodiac. It's so fiery, okay? So it's really important to have a strategy this week and to stick to the strategy, stay level-headed, okay? And always stick to what you believe in, okay? Sagittarius has to believe. That's key, believing. Okay, so these blue lines, or excuse me, these purple lines are the lows in the waning, and we can see each and every waning phase of the moon since we started this AMC thing. We have made a higher low. Okay, so the new floor for this waning, and pretty much going forward until we have the next waning, will be, to be exact. Let's get exact measurement here. 893. Okay, that is the floor to me. Now let's just say, for example, we do fall. Okay, 892 would be the bottom for me, and around those levels under 10 is a really nice buying dip opportunity, if you ask me. Okay, but we'll get deeper into that. But what I said last week, as far as like us squeezing for this full moon, I said we have to be above where we were on this full moon within 3 days of the next full moon. Okay, now we can see we're a little lower, just a little lower. It's like we're getting teased hardcore right here. Okay, we had to be above this one this 1225 markish, okay? For me to even consider us being close to any type of squeeze, gamma squeeze, short squeeze, okay? Now, on Friday would have been the 4th day before the full moon. So we finished underneath where we needed to be for any type of squeeze to me, okay? Now, but we do have potential for Monday, okay? So if we get above this full moon on Monday, then maybe we do have a chance to gamma a little bit, okay? But for a short squeeze, Monday to me, we would have to be above this full moon, or where we were on this last waxing moon, where we went really high, and this brought us at the 1450 mark, okay? So if Monday somehow we get to 1450, then we have a real shot on Tuesday, Wednesday of the full moon, to actually do some type of real squeeze, okay? Short squeeze. Now, when we do look at the MACD, we're still in the buying pressure, so that's good. We could definitely turn. Remember, this is Sagittarius moon, full moon, blood moon, eclipse moon, okay, super moon, purgy moon, okay. So we really, really, really remember those purges can create a true reversal, okay. So the RSI is heading down, but it's still above 50. We're looking pretty good there. Buying pressure is still there, okay? So we do still have, I'm still very optimistically looking at this situation as a potential for some really solid, beautiful price action on the following next week. Now, if we do jump, okay, we will most likely, afterwards see some type of dip, okay? So remember that if we see some type of squeeze, we're going to see immediate dip, okay? What happens after all these full moons, okay? We do see some dipping, okay? We have the climax a day within 3 days, and then right afterwards we dip, okay? Climax, dip, climax, dip, climax, dip, okay? Climax, dip, okay? So we always dip after these full moons. Keep that in mind. Now, what I'm going to do now is pull up my other chart. Okay, so this is my other AMC moon chart that I have. Now, as you guys know, we've been playing with this, okay? What I find really interesting about this is where my triangle is. Because we've been looking at this eclipse for a long time. You know, the moon lords know. And the Discord knows. If you guys aren't in the Discord, check us out, Market Moon Lords, or Market Moon Lord. But we've been looking at this eclipse for a long time. And this triangle still matches up for some type of climax here, okay? And it's almost like we wanted to go right back in here just to bounce right back up, okay? Now, I have to admit, the last time we had a climax like this during a waxing was over here, right? And we're pretty much doing the same thing, okay? We kind of went up, and then we start going down. So it does look like that's happening. But remember, this is an eclipse. Now, I did have this channel in here from before, and it's around the 1077, 1080 to around 1012, okay? Now, that was an area that I've marked because on both of these wanings, it was kind of a significant channel, okay? So if we do start to drop after the full moon, okay, I do think maybe around this area could be an opportunity to buy, okay? Now, if we were to do any type of calls, I do think this next waning moon, which could, and that could be for Thursday, Friday, could be a good opportunity to buy calls if we dip. Now, if we dip anywhere under this 950 mark, because remember, we're gonna probably see we can go all the way down to around our new low of 882. Okay, so 950 to 882. I'm most likely going to be buying calls. That's going to be a good call buying option opportunity. Just an FYI. Okay. So yeah, that's all I really want to show for this chart. We are heading towards this triangle for this super blood eclipse, and we could get a bounce. But based on what's happening here, on what happened on this last waxing, we could just do this type of thing again and then start consolidating till the waning, and for another opportunity on the next waxing full moon. Another thing I want to point out: this waxing full moon over here is around 1460, and we kind of went a little bit past it, about 1470, right? So we did get it. We are seeing lower lows on the wanings and higher highs on the waxing, or a higher high from the last high waxing. Okay, so yeah, let's jump into the chart and start looking at day by day action. And we're going to definitely look at that. We're going to focus mainly on that eclipse, and we're going to talk a lot about Sagittarius and what that means for AMC. Okay, as you guys can see, we have Monday pulled up, May 24th, and we have AMC's IPO chart pulled up and we rectified it to 9:30 a.m. Okay, now before we get started, remember, I am not a financial advisor. I'm really just bored out of my mind and I have nothing better to do than to look at the stars and talk to you guys about AMC. Okay, that being said, let's look at the chart. Now, you guys know me. I go back into the past and I actually look at the aspects that I see on the chart today, and I look in the past, the last time that happened, to get an idea. Okay, for example, I went a year ago, the last time the sun was in 3 degrees Gemini. Nothing this significant. I went 3 years back on AMC, or on Mars, when Mars is 18 degrees Cancer, because it is making an aspect to Jupiter conjunction, okay, and to Saturn. We don't really see anything going on there. I do like it when Mercury gets an aspect, okay, and it is getting an aspect opposite from Venus, but that doesn't really do anything based on the past. Now, the moon is on AMC's North Node, and when I look at that initially, I'm like, yeah, that's nice. I like that because North Node is like destiny. Right on Monday, the moon's right there on top of it. But in past, and I went back, moon moves quickly, so I traced that like 8 times. I saw more red than green on most of these aspects that's on the chart for Monday. But I did see volatility. Okay, so we can get volatility, and it could go either way. I mean, it doesn't. I'm not saying it will be red. I'm just saying based on the past, it typically is on these aspects. Now, one thing I want to talk about is Saturn did go retrograde, and Saturn retrograde is kind of a big deal because when Saturn represents restriction, redoing, refining, retuning, okay, reanalyzing. So Saturn goes retrograde on AMC's first house, and it's like, it's like we're looking at the structure of AMC and we're retuning how we're seeing it. Okay, so there could be, in AMC as a company, there could be something happening with the structure that's getting things worked on. Okay, so now we have 2 things retrograde right on the ascendant. Okay, now Pluto went retrograde right before it hit the ascendant, and now Saturn's retrograde in the ascendant. Okay, now when Pluto went retrograde, we had the day Pluto went retrograde on top of Saturn, on top of Venus over here in the ascendant, we had negative 7%. Now Saturn's going retrograde in the first house, and that's a big time house. So it's almost like Saturn can bring stability too. Okay, so keep that in mind. So things could be stabilizing again, and it's almost like we're entering, like a new structure, a new phase of planning, retuning with Saturn going retrograde. So I'm excited to see what happens, because typically when planets go retrograde, it does create like a downtrend, but when it goes direct, it creates an uptrend. Okay, so when these 2 powerhouses go direct, it's probably going to be very powerful, especially Pluto going direct on top of Venus like that. Okay, and if you notice, only Pluto and only Saturn, and you can see right here in AMC's chart, Saturn, Pluto, and then we have Mars and Mars. Those are the only ones that are red. Okay, they create like a chaos, malefic energy, right? That's not always pleasant dealing with them, but they get things done. Okay, so maybe there's still a fight to be had with this type of energy. Now, when I look at AMC's actual Saturn, you guys know I don't really like it when AMC gets aspected with when Saturn on AMC gets aspected, because typically when that happens, 8 times out of 10, it doesn't go the direction we want. Now, it is going a positive aspect to Mars, right? And it's a trine. So I do like that, but based on the past, that doesn't really do much good for us. But I do like that. But that could say, hey, we're winning the fight. Maybe there's still a power struggle, especially behind the scenes, because Saturn's in Scorpio. Mars is in Cancer, trying to work behind the scenes, and there's a power struggle happening here, and it does look like we're winning. It just may not reflect always in the price action. Okay, but this trine with Mars conjunct Jupiter does suggest we're winning, especially legal matters. Now, Sagittarius new moon or eclipse full moon is in Sagittarius, right? So that is legal matters. Jupiter is legal matters, okay? Saturn is structures. So whatever we're dealing with legally, especially the things behind the scenes, it does look like we're taking care of business. Now, another aspect we have going on is the Sun trine Mars, okay? So there's a lot of Mars energy. Mars creates energy. Mars represents cutting. Most of the time when we get Mars energy, we get cutting energy, like the price going down. But, with Mars getting a positive aspect to Saturn here, and then the Sun, the transiting Sun also aspecting Mars, it's almost like, respect AMC's authority, okay? It's almost like AMC might become more powerful. It's like it's getting charged up maybe, or maybe it is consolidating to charge up, okay? So I'm still super optimistic. I'm just a lot of Mars and Saturn stuff, and that's not automatic. Oh, that's good. That's more like automatic. Oh, that's the red planets. That's malefic. Okay, keep that in mind. Now Saturn is retrograde, so it's almost like we have to really think about the plan. Remember, stick to the plan this week, guys. Stick to what you believe in this week, no matter what. Now let's jump over to Tuesday. Okay, so not much change other than the fact that now the moon is more on top of AMC Saturn, and now it's on top of the midheaven. Based on the past, that's not always favorable. But if you're just reading that in a astrological standpoint, that looks good. We do have the moon conjunct the midheaven. The midheaven is kind of like the company standing. The moon definitely deals with like service-based businesses, because the moon is like hospitality. It's like the mother of the zodiac, wants to take care of things. It's a very AMC type energy. So that does look positive on that aspect, especially since the moon does represent the people, the masses. This could signify there's a lot of eyes, more eyes happening on AMC. And remember, this is happening right before the full moon. Okay, so I do like. I do like that. If I'm not judging it based on the last time it was here, I do like it, because the last time it was here wasn't a full moon, especially not an eclipse. And then Mercury is getting aspected. So Mercury has a 0-degree opposition to Saturn, to Venus. That's always an opportunity. It's an opposition that is it's an obstacle that is an opportunity. And Venus is in Gemini, very fast moving, information syncing, information telling sign. Okay, so there is potential for some positive catalyst news with that aspect, especially right before the full moon. I cannot ignore that. Okay, and look at Venus is right there next to Mercury in the sky. Okay, that's significant to me. Okay, so Venus is in the sky with Mercury, and they're kind of looking at the Mercury of AMC. Okay, and it's definitely an opposite sign. So, news could be happening that is very, 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 very significant. That brings a lot of attention to AMC, lots of attention. And the news could come from Adam, okay, the CEO of AMC, because the sun represents the authority, the CEOs, okay, and management. So maybe we're getting some type of news this week. And maybe we'll look at Adam's chart for the eclipse just to see what's going on. But yeah, not much change from Monday to Tuesday. But we do have to respect that this what's happening with Venus coming closer to Mercury while it's opposite to Mercury. We could get news this week. We could get some really powerful news this week with that aspect. All right, so let's jump over to eclipse time. It's here, the eclipse, the super blood moon eclipse, which is a full moon too, by the way, guys. Super means it's a perigee, closest to the sky. This is super, super significant. I don't know why, but the fact that Jupiter says 111 right there makes me feel kind of bullish on this day. But who knows? Who knows? Who really knows? I know I don't really know. Okay, but remember, to me, especially with Sagittarius energy, it's all about belief. Okay, I'm a Pisces. That's co-ruled by Jupiter. Jupiter rules Pisces and Sagittarius. I definitely believe in the AMC squeeze. Even if it doesn't happen this week, I will be holding because I believe in the squeeze. Okay, I definitely believe in the squeeze, which is why I'm going to keep tracking this no matter what happens. Okay, now a lot of the aspects this week do say, you know, based on past historic events, that it's not super favorable. However, the chart still looks decent, and there's still opportunities here. And I must say, the last time the sun was in 5 degrees Gemini, we started a bull run that was like an 11% day. The next day was a 9% day. The day after that, it was kind of flat, and then the day after that, it was like 9% again. Okay, so last time the sun was here, we did see a significant bull run. In fact, I'm going to pull up this article. You can see the last time the sun was in the 5th degree of Gemini, which was May 26, 2020. Cinema stocks higher as iPic sets reopening. Okay, it says AMC was up 8.4%, but TradingView says it was up 11%. But you can see that maybe that's the news that we're going to get this week, that there's going to be some type of theaters getting reopened, or more theaters getting reopened, more seats being allowed to get filled. Maybe that is the catalyst that we are going to be getting for potentially some type of squeeze for this full moon. Because when I look at the chart for this full moon, we can see the sun is getting aspected from Mercury. And then we can see the transiting Mercury, the natal Mercury is also getting aspected from Venus. And when we see Venus is over here, right with Mercury in the sky. Okay, so to me, this is like information, communication around AMC, lots of it. Okay, and Venus wants to enjoy and have fun. It's the artist. Okay, it is the actor, the actress. Okay, so maybe we're getting a lot more movie releases and a lot more people going to see them act. Okay, so that would be my catalyst for this full moon. Some type of theater activity, whether we're beating a lot of numbers, or allowed to open more doors, or fill more seats. Another thing I have to mention is Venus does represent the lawyer, and I know it's like you just said, Venus is all about enjoying life, stuff like that. But yeah, it is. It wants to enjoy and indulge, but it also wants everything to be fair. You see, Venus is the scales. It wants to weigh everything. It wants to see both sides of the situation. And so Venus is also known as the lawyer, okay, because it's able to see both sides, and it wants to fight for justice. That's Venus, okay? The sun is authority. Okay, and Mercury is communication, information, contracts, and Sagittarius is the legal justice system, or I don't want to say Sagittarius, Jupiter, and that's the ruler of Sagittarius. Okay, so if there's any legal matters happening with AMC, maybe there's some type of catalyst going on there, where we win something, or we find something out, which is going to create potential buying power type catalyst energy. Okay, so that's what I'm looking for. So even though most of these aspects based on the past aren't always favorable, the sun being in this degree did mark a bull run, and that could match us up to do good on the waning, if maybe somehow on the full moon we get that crazy bounce, and then we continue to go up on the waning. That could happen. However, I am kind of bullish for Wednesday on that full moon. But I have to say, most of the time we get the climaxes a day before, 2 days before, or 3 days before the full moon. We haven't really got it on the actual full moon yet, but maybe this time we do. So yeah, let's jump over to Thursday. Now, before I talk about Thursday, I have to say, maybe this chart takes the energy of this chart takes place on Monday or Tuesday before the full moon, right? See, we're building into the full moon, so this is that day. Maybe that's where everything happens exact. However, the energy is there before those days as well. Okay, so this week is not a week to sleep on by any means. You guys tell me what you think. If you guys have watched this far in this video and haven't liked, please like. And yeah, let's jump over to Thursday. Okay, so Thursday looks interesting to me. We got a lot of different energy. See, one thing I want to mention is Venus is definitely getting closer to that Mercury while aspecting AMC's Mercury the whole time, okay? And then Mercury is also, transiting Mercury is also aspecting AMC's Sun over here. Now, I have to say, I mean, there's going to be a lot of information. And then we go over to Mercury over here and look at where the moon's at. The moon on Thursday is going to be traveling over Mercury. Later that day is going to be traveling over the sun. In fact, this is one of those days that I've tracked in the past. The moon lords know what this chart is. So I'm about to show you guys what's happened the last time the moon hits these degrees up here on AMC. I marked it here, the moon, 28 degrees Sag, conjunct the sun. Okay, we're going to follow this little purple line, and it connects us all the way to these lines right here. And you know, the moon travels quickly, so I marked it a lot of them. So the last time it was -9, +3, -18%, -4, -12, -8, +16, -2, -3, -1, -2, 0%, +6. Okay. Okay, so that being said, I think it's clear to say Thursday looks interesting. Volatile, which way is hard to say. I can say that Uranus over here is getting aspected from the sun. This transiting sun is definitely making moves, trining Mars and sextiling Uranus. Okay, so I'm definitely optimistic on this week, and I'm definitely betting on the fact that we're going to have some very nice potential catalysts. Okay, guys, so keep in mind this chart is at 3:30 a.m. And I just have it here because it's like right before the moon starts hitting all these things, Mercury and the sun. It's going to do both those things that day while both of these planets are getting aspects from other planets in the sky. Pre-market could be interesting for Thursday. Okay, so let's jump over to Friday. Okay, Friday definitely has a brand new shift of energy. First of all, the moon is now in a different sign. It's in the 6th degree of Capricorn. The very last time this happened, we had a plus 15%. And the time it happened before that, we had a plus 13%. The times before that, it was kind of volatile and will go either way. But Friday looks very interesting. And another thing I want to say about Friday is we no longer have an aspect to AMC Saturn. So a lot of tension was let go. A lot of that energy of things being kind of tied down kind of get released on Friday. So Friday looks extremely interesting. Another thing is Venus finally is meeting Mercury out here in the sky, and Mercury is aspecting the sun with the opposition. So yeah, a lot of climax energy happening around Friday as well. I'm actually really interesting. It's an interesting Friday. And based on the history, it's a bullish Friday. Okay, so we're gonna leave it there for this astrological financial astrology update for AMC. Thank you guys for watching. I appreciate each and every one of you guys. If you haven't subscribed, please subscribe. Don't forget to comment, like. I'm Jason Alexander, the Blue Moon in Neptune, here to help you navigate through the illusions of life. You're watching the Market Moon Lord, where we merge the matrix with the stars. We got a full moon this week for AMC. Let's go. I'll see the Moon Lords in the Discord. Until next time, peace.
Jason Alexander, the Blue Moon of Neptune.